This is RTV6 News at 11, working for you.
Hang in there. This heat wave is far from over. Thanks for joining us here at 11. I'm Mark Mullins. You probably noticed just because the sun is down, it doesn't mean that we're seeing a break from the heat. Let's get right over to Chief Meteorologist Kevin Gregory tonight.
Yeah, I'll show you how little temperatures have changed here. 93 the high this afternoon, and our current temperature still 82 degrees, and that's the issue here, the duration of the heat and the fact we don't cool off overnight much. Temperatures will be their warmest over the next 48 hours. Very low rain chances during this period. Temperatures as warm as the mid-90s, generally speaking, with heat index values of 106. Let's break down your Friday. We'll be at 80 degrees at 8 a.m. By the time we get to noon, almost 90. Should be in the mid-90s in the afternoon hours with lots of sunshine around. At least we'll have a breeze out of the southwest. As I mentioned a minute ago, temperatures way up here through Saturday, then they come down a little bit Sunday, and there's the beginning of a refreshing change for early next week. More on that coming up.
New at 11 tonight, it's a crime we see often during the holidays. Packages snatched from driveways and doorsteps, but it happens year-round, and you should take some extra precautions if you're waiting on a delivery following Amazon's Prime Day. RTV6's Graham Hunter talked to an Indianapolis woman who found out it doesn't matter what's inside the package. Porch pirates are looking for any opportunity to walk away with your stuff.
I was expecting my delivery to come today.
Molly Preston was tracking her latest Amazon delivery.
It was protein powder, an iPhone case, and a pop socket for my phone.
Taking advantage of 2 days of sales from the online retailer.
Things that didn't really need, but there was deals on them, so I got them.
The package came earlier than she expected.
This morning I was checking to see where the package was or when it would be delivered, and it said it was delivered yesterday.
That's when Preston checked her security cameras.
It showed that someone was taking the package.
At first, the man in blue walks by, but 42 seconds later, he has second thoughts.
I was pretty angry, more so that I felt violated.
Walking back up to Preston's porch, covering his face, he takes Preston's package and heads back the way he came.
Definitely, I would like to catch this guy because I'm sure I'm not the only one that's experienced this.
And she wants to make sure it doesn't happen to anyone else.
I just want to make sure that people are taking the right precautions and also making people aware of this man that's taking other people's belongings.
Now she'll be switching up her routine.
So I probably won't get things delivered here anymore. I can probably just get them delivered to a friend's house or even to my work.
That's something that doesn't sit well with Preston.
It kind of baffles my mind that we're living in that day and age that we have to alter where things are shipped.
Reporting from downtown Indianapolis, Graham Hunter, RTV6.
Preston tells RTV6 she gave that surveillance video to police. If you think you know who the man is trying to hide his identity from the camera, call Crime Stoppers. A truck driver accused of causing a crash that killed a mother and her 2 daughters could face 19 years in prison. Bruce Pollard made his first court appearance since Sunday's crash. Prosecutors say he was going 65 miles an hour in a 45-mile-an-hour construction zone when he hit and killed Alana Coons and her young twins on I-465. State police confiscated data from Pollard's truck and found that he didn't brake until he rear-ended the mother's car. Court documents filed today show Pollard stated he is on a lot of medicine and has special pills to help him with anxiety. Pollard is charged with 3 counts of reckless homicide. His bond is set at $100,000. Deadly crashes happen every day in central Indiana. Our Call 6 Investigates team is digging into why this crash is considered a crime. Marion County Chief Trial Deputy Prosecutor Ryan Mears explained that just being negligent is considered a civil matter, but when someone is reckless, that means they disregard standards and it becomes criminal. In Bruce Pollard's case, prosecutors say he didn't hit the brakes until he rear-ended Alana Coons and her 2 daughters. Plus, his truck's data show that he was speeding in a construction zone.
Could more charges be coming?
This is a very significant investigation, and I think it's important to note that this all occurred within 4 days, and so this is an ongoing investigation. There's a lot of forensics involved in this particular case. We're also still putting together our accident reconstruction, and probably most importantly, we're also still trying to figure out the nature and the severity of the injuries to other individuals who were involved.
Call 6 Investigates found several examples of similar crashes in which the truck driver was not charged. Judith and Gerald Williams lost 7 of their family members in a fiery crash on I-65 in 2013. Records show the family's Jeep slowed for an upcoming construction zone, but the semi-truck driver was going 65 miles an hour and did not stop. The Jeep burst into flames, killing 7 people, including 4 children. The family begged for the driver, Howard Stratton, to be criminally charged, but the Jasper County prosecutor at the time told us negligent behavior alone is not enough to obtain a criminal conviction. Indianapolis Metro Police still need your help identifying the man seen in the surveillance images we're showing you. Investigators say he has started multiple fires on the north and northeast sides of the city. Police say one of those fires was started in the early morning of July 2nd at Aaron Grauman's home. Today, she shared a message for the community asking anyone who might know the suspect to come forward with information before someone gets hurt.
It's very concerning because, you know, I don't know what the motivation is from this individual, but obviously the concern is that, you know, if there is a next time, somebody's not going to be as lucky as we all have been.
She's also encouraging people in the Heron Morton neighborhood to check for any surveillance footage of that might have the suspect. So if you know anything, you can call Crime Stoppers or IMPD's arson detectives at this number, 317-327-6700. A woman on the east side is hoping this surveillance video can help track down the man she says has been stealing tools from her garage and peeking into her home. This happened Saturday afternoon at 11th and Franklin. She said the man took several tools, a couple of saws, a weed eater, and tool sets. Since this happened, they've installed more security cameras inside and out. CNN has announced the lineup for the next round of Democratic presidential debates less than 2 weeks away. The candidates were randomly selected from 3 different pools based on recent polls. South Bend Mayor Pete Buttigieg will debate on the first night, sharing the stage with Senators Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren. Buttigieg was back in his home state tonight, speaking to a crowd at the Young Democrats of America convention in Indianapolis.
So to come of age in the 21st century is to see virtually every major prediction and policy idea advanced by the Republican Party in your adult lifetime fail before your eyes when actually put into practice. Nothing they say actually works in the real world, which is why they say young people are idealistic, but we're not Democrats because of our idealism. We're Democrats because of our reality.
Buttigieg is the youngest of the Democratic 2020 candidates. This was his first Indianapolis event since entering the race. The Republican National Committee released a statement responding to Mayor Pete's speech, saying in part, quote, Hoosiers and Americans alike will reject Buttigieg's far-left vision for the country at a time when President Trump's red-hot economy continues to deliver for all Americans, end quote. The Young Democrats of America convention is happening now through Saturday. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is set to speak tomorrow night. Indiana Governor Eric Holcomb recently announced he is running for re-election in 2020, and tonight a new opinion survey of the governor shows his approval ratings are holding steady. A research company called Morning Consult questioned more than 12,000 Hoosiers. They found 50% approve of the job that Holcomb is doing and 22% disapprove. 28% of surveyed registered voters either didn't know enough about his job performance or had no opinion. Since taking office in 2017, Holcomb's approval ratings remained the same, consistently hovering around the 50% mark. Minnesota Congresswoman Ilhan Omar returned home tonight, one day after Trump supporters chanted, "Send her back," during a rally. Omar and other congresswomen have been the target of President Trump over the last few days. Chuck Sievertson shows you how the president and other Republicans are reacting to the chant.
One day after those controversial chants of "Send her back" at a Trump rally in North Carolina, cheers of support for Representative Ilhan Omar as she returned to Minnesota, the Somali-born U.S. citizen firing back at President Trump.
His nightmare is seeing the beautiful mosaic fabric of our country welcome someone like me as their member of Congress.
The Congresswoman back in her home state hosting a town hall on Medicare for all.
The American healthcare system is broken. It is a moral imperative that we fix it.
In his speech Wednesday night, the president doubling down on his racist Twitter attack of 4 Democratic congresswomen, including Omar.
Omar has a history of launching vicious anti-Semitic screeds.
Today, the president disavowing those words of his supporters.
I was not happy with it. I disagree with it. But again, I didn't say that. They did.
A Republican congressman from North Carolina who was at that rally tweeted he, quote, struggled with the chant and that the words were painful to our friends in the minority communities. Republican House Leader Kevin McCarthy defended the president.
Are you going to hold him accountable, too, for whatever any protesters or something else do? I think that's an unfair position.
The president was asked what his message to his supporters who were chanting would be.
Well, these are people that love our country. I want them to keep loving our country.
Chuck Severson, ABC News, New York.
We're hopeful that then they'll say, man, Indy is awesome. I want to stay here.
Indianapolis companies are pulling out all the stops to show students why the Circle City is a great place to bring their talents. Why Indyfluence is working hard to hang on to the next generation of Hoosier workers.
And we'll talk about the timing of some Sunday thunderstorms and what it will do to temperatures early next week coming up.
At Ross, yes for less.
This is RTV6 News at 11, working for you.
Our Hiring Hoosiers initiative is connecting you to family to career opportunities across central Indiana, and that includes preparing college and grade school students for future job openings. Hundreds of interns were out in downtown Indianapolis today volunteering and networking with some of the city's top companies. It's part of an initiative to keep recent college graduates in the Hoosier State. Indyfluence participants worked on 10 different service projects, then met with Indy's top corporate and nonprofit leaders to get a unique sense of the Circle City. Indyfluence hopes to help find talented Hoosiers who can fill the 300,000 new jobs expected in the state by the year 2028.
We need to keep the people who come here and see what's happening in Indy so that they can create that talent that helps fuel the economy, and also they can build great careers for themselves.
This was the first Indyfluence event. Organizers hope to add more participants and companies next year. Indiana's Department of Workforce Development and K-12 are focusing on even younger students, giving them exposure to the world of work and careers in the Hoosier State. As part of Job Shadow Week, online schooling students got a first-hand look at the job application process during a job fair at the Hallville Library. Organizers say the program teaches students about the diverse options available in Indiana's job market.
There's plenty of things out there, and that they don't have to be cornered in any type of specific job that they have. The world is their oyster.
This week, students also attended a job etiquette seminar and shadowed workers at Cummins in Columbus. They worked on resumes and elevator pitches to win over potential employers. Hiring Hoosiers is also working to make sure you're satisfied with your current job. Tonight, our career coach has some advice when it comes to dealing with difficult personalities in your workplace.
The first thing that you want to do is recognize that the chemistry is not always right between two people just because you work together. You want to fight your natural instinct of being defensive with that other person. Second, remind yourself that if you can keep your eyes on the goal you're both working toward, you can live with your differences. Just move forward and don't dwell on the past. Also, if you're able to take part ownership of a project, there might be a little less interaction between you and that difficult person. Third, if you can reframe your mindset and see this person as someone you can learn from, despite your dislike for him or her, it will make your job easier. Notice that these tips require you to work on yourself and not the other person. Just remember that mastering these skills will enhance your relationships, not only in the workplace, but also in your personal relationships.
If you have a question for our career coach, you can send it to us or find more tips at hiringhoosiers.com. You can also find current job postings and all of our Hiring Hoosiers coverage there. Well, close to half the country is facing dangerously high temperatures over the next few days. An excessive heat warning continues in central Indiana. With the weekend right around the corner, we spoke with Homeland Security about the top things to remember if you're preparing to spend some time outside.
I think the first thing is to make sure they dress accordingly. Loose-fitting clothes and covering a lot more of your body will help. And we're not talking like heavy garments. We're just talking about light, loose-fitting clothes to help keep some of the sun and UV rays off of you. And remember to stay hydrated. Try to keep something in your head if you're going to be in direct sunlight.
RTV6 checked today with people who spend their days working outdoors. From construction workers to lifeguards, everyone told us the key to making it through the heat is water. And sometimes just drinking it is not enough.
Our lifeguard safety is huge because if our lifeguards aren't safe, our pools can't be safe. We make sure that they stay hydrated. They always have water at their stand. We will also take buckets around and dump it on their legs.
We also checked in with counselors at an Indy Parks camp who say they're trained to watch out for signs of heat exhaustion. You can learn more about the signs and symptoms, plus find a list of cooling centers open during this heat wave at theindychannel.com. Despite the heat, movie fans came out for downtown Indy's Sunset Cinema on the Canal. Tonight's movie was Splash. And to cope with higher than usual temperatures, people did some splashing of their own, enjoying the movie from the water. You almost had to do that, I think, tonight.
Was that a very young Tom Hanks?
Yes, and Daryl Hannah, I believe.
Goes back to the
Dating myself, right?
Goes back to the 1980s. That was a great decade. We'll get back to the 80s on Monday. As far as high temperatures, that's what we've got to look forward to. Well, I should say that. We're at 82 now, but that's unacceptable for this hour. Temperature 82 in Indy, 85 in Muncie. We should be way cooler through the overnight hours, but we'll only drop into the 70s. Mark mentioned half the country in this battle with the heat and humidity. It goes from central portions of Kansas and Nebraska all the way to New York City and Boston through the weekend. For us, we're dry. We'll stay that way until we get to, more than likely, Sunday afternoon. Big picture, there's the bubble of warmth from the Gulf Coast to the Great Lakes for the eastern 2/3 of the country. Here are the maximum heat index values that we'll see over the next 3 days. 106 for the next couple of days, and then on Sunday we back off a little bit. Our thunderstorm chances will increase. Also early next week, the flow changes. Instead of from the southwest, a cooler, drier Canadian flow, and that means our humidity will drop. We'll be at the top of the scale for the humidity Friday, Saturday, and most of Sunday. Then look at early next week, Monday and Tuesday. That will make temperatures that will be in the 80 to 85 degree range seem so much more comfortable. 7 a.m. Sunday, not much happening. Isolated showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon. You begin to see the line, and I say the line, that will be the transition to the more comfortable conditions that will dominate most of next week. As far as that refreshing change, lower 80s through Tuesday, then Wednesday 85, but that's with very low humidity. These overnight lows that aren't going to cool off the next couple of mornings will finally fall down into the upper 50s and low 60s by early next week. Rain chances minimal through Saturday. They pick up Sunday and especially Sunday night, as I showed you, with a cold front coming through. Get ready, another day just as warm as today, if not warmer tomorrow afternoon. As we go into the weekend, temperatures that are around the mid-90s will consistently be 96. There could be a spot to the south that will be a little warmer than that, but the heat index values at 106. They're your chance for thunderstorms increasing on a Sunday. Big picture then, we've got 3 more days, tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday, with the heat and humidity really causing some problems, and then comfort is the word. Monday through Thursday, we'll reverse the pattern in a hurry and have more comfortable conditions, lower humidity, and I think it'll all be more enjoyable.
You haven't said hot enough for you to anybody yet, have you?
Hot enough for you?
Hot enough for you? No.
We were out at Victory Field at 6 o'clock, and of course, we're the ones that have all sorts of options to stand in the shade, but we're making TV in the sunshine out there. It was about 20 degrees cooler.
The choices we make.
Yeah, that's what it was.
That's why it's tough.
Yeah, exactly. Good night out there. We'll have a look at a couple highlights from that one, plus some hoops coming up this weekend, and you'll know some of the guys and gals on the court. They're doing it all for a good cause. We'll talk more about that coming up next in sports.
Huntington, welcome.
Out of Victory Field earlier, we talked with this guy at the plate, Indians catcher Christian Kelly. What do you do in all the heat with all that catcher's gear on? Well, it didn't affect his bat. Solo home run in the 3rd inning. Look at all the fans beating the heat out there in the lawn. I got Indy on the board with the first of 6 runs in that inning. Tonight, pitcher James Marvell was a marvel indeed. 6 innings, gave up just 1 hit. There's one of his 9 strikeouts. Indians win 9-1. They're back home again tomorrow night at 7:15. And a good evening, everyone. Indiana Black Expo's 49th summer celebration is underway downtown. This weekend will be the annual Saving Our Youth charity basketball game. Indy's own Amp Harris continues to be a driving force behind this great event. He stopped by earlier this week to talk more about it. Here's some of our conversation in tonight's Sports Extra Spotlight. How many years is this for you guys in this event?
I actually started it, and I think after like year 23, 24, I stopped counting. So I think we're about around 26.
Wow.
Year 26 when I first initially started.
Did you have any idea when you started this thing then all those years ago that A, it would keep going this long, but B, it would turn into Not just the event that it's become, but the cause that it's become for you guys.
Actually, you know, I stole the idea. I was in Los Angeles with a friend of mine, Pooh Richardson, who used to play with the Indiana Pacers. Yeah. And they had a celebrity game in L.A. And people they have no idea how this thing came to fruition. They had a celebrity game, and it was a high school rivalry game in the inner city. But after the game, it was Ice Cube, Snoop Dogg, back in the NWA days. Yeah. So I'm like, wow, this is going to be amazing. It was like 3,000 people in the gym. Once the game was over, it was like 300 people in the gym. I'm like, what just happened? Like, no one stayed. So literally, that's where the brain trust came from. It was like, imagine if I did this in Indianapolis.
When you get a chance to get in front of these kids, and it's not the celebrity part of it, they make a connection because y'all are from the same situation. Y'all are from that. Those normal. Kids, that's kind of where the inspiration comes from.
Absolutely.
And the connection seems to be quicker with that. Has that always been the case?
Yeah, because you normalize now. I mean, like anybody else, anything in life, if you expose me to anything, I'm either going to gravitate to it or I'm not. Yeah. So it's instant because, again, the celebrities are a magnet. Yeah. So it doesn't take much for the kids to gravitate to what they yearn to be or who they inspire to be like. So if I can get these kids to see a Reggie Wayne up close, a T.Y. Hilton up close, you know, a Miles Turner up close. Now they see it and they can achieve it. And so my whole goal, because I was a product of that environment, my whole goal is to give these kids hope. It's not to say that you're going to be a professional athlete, but if you understand the sacrifices that these athletes made, then you understand, oh, wow, they came from a single-parent home, or they came from a drug-infested home or a low-income family. If they could do it, I know I can. So that's the whole purpose of it.
That's a great message. Saturday's game starts at 6 at the Convention Center. The court's in the main expo hall there. There is free admission. So if you're already heading down there, go ahead and check it out. There'll be players from the Colts, the Pacers, some music and TV celebrities, and more. Great cause for everyone involved. We wish Aunt, Reggie, and everybody all the best this weekend. We finish off the night with the start of USAC's Indiana Sprint Week. The opener tonight in Gas City was a thriller. Shane Cottle gets the feature win after starting 18th in the A main. Worked his way to the front. He beat C.J. Leary by a wheel. Chris Wyndham third, Brady Bacon and Kevin Thomas Jr. rounding out the top 5. There's a win for Cottle there. Good stuff for him up at I-69 Speedway tonight. First of 8 nights of racing for the USAC guys. They're at Plymouth tomorrow night, Kokomo, and Lawrenceburg on Saturday and Sunday. Time for another break. We're back to finish the news at 11 next.
A unique convention happening on the east side proves that people have been looking for ways to beat the heat for centuries. Fan Fair, the annual Antique Fan Collectors Association convention, is happening through Saturday. Hundreds of people have turned antique fans into a hobby. They get together every year to share their collections, learn restoration techniques, and hold auctions. Some of these collectibles can go for thousands of dollars. The convention is happening through Saturday afternoon at the Indianapolis Marriott East. It's free to check out. If you have an old fan sitting around, collectors encourage you to bring it along.
I think every fan in there should be turned on.
Yes.
Until Monday.
And oscillating.
Yeah, that'll be the break on Monday. But just to show you, we'll be closest to a record high tomorrow. Predicted high 95, record high 98. The records bump up well above 100 Saturday and Sunday. I think those are safe. Sunday's our transition day with some thunderstorms late, which knocks our temperature back into the 80s with low humidity Monday.
At least comfortable by the week. That'll do it for us here on RTV6 News at 11. Thanks for joining us. Good Morning Indiana comes your way at 4:30. Have a good evening, everyone.